a simple flash, and a simple peek. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. So this flash here, pivotal to every G2 hold. So it's very good for letting Shox have a peek, especially with the AWP. He throws his own flash to fall back, which is important. The other thing this flash is good for, so obviously it's good for the peek. The other thing it's good for is just for stopping a rush. You'll see NIPA coming in, you'll see here comes the flash. Blinds 2 of them, there's the leg shot that comes in, he throws it again, blinds 3 of the players, and it really just stops the rush in its tracks. They do set up for the execute, but it probably delayed it a little bit, gave Shox more time to reposition. So this is how you throw the flash, come to the rock, aim in the middle of the little branch there, and it's going to pop in like that. You can see, no way you can see it coming. It's really good for this angle. If someone else is holding for the AWP, they're going to get blinded, and you'll see there's no way you see it coming in. You're white for over a second. Just a great flash, should be used a lot of rounds really. So sticking with the topic of grenades, you'll see here this flash is used again to slow down a rush here by Gambit. There's one flash in, you see Shox knows they're coming fast, throws his own counter flash. Flashes are really useful in this situation. Body throws a smoke here, I think he meant to throw a Molotov. And you'll see Shox also ends up in this corner. He has an escape plan for if he does get flashed out like he does. You see he just chucks his own flash. The back of B there's really open, good place for throwing flashes. Firstly though is this flash. You'll notice Body throws it about 12 seconds into the round, and it doesn't end up blinding the first 2 Gambit players in. So they had I think they had 4 guys running through here. I think the back 2 got caught with the flash, and the front 2 weren't blinded, which is a little bit late. Obviously he's throwing that flash in the timing for Shox to peek. But if you're trying to use it for a counter rush, maybe throw it 10 seconds into a round, 11 seconds into a round, just to be a little bit safer. So that's that, probably the most powerful flash, I already covered it. So Shox then, he knows when he's coming here, he has an escape plan. This is good, it's not like I'm going for this peek and then he gets flash, he's like, oh what the hell do I do now? He's got his own flash, he knows, like if it's really open here, as I said, you can flash anywhere if he wanted to. He could have flashed like that, back corner. I mean there's lots of places you can just bounce flashes, and because it is just it's a channel way. But he gets through, he has his escape plan, which is really important. So he's got his cannonade, and he knows he's going to come here, he's just going to keep running. And the thing is, especially with an early round rush, and they've got their Tech 9s, their biggest concern is just swarming the site. So they're probably, most of them are just going to be flying out here. Some are going to run this way, as you saw, and then they're just going to come and swarm this area. Probably not going to look there as much, because it's all about swarming, especially with the Tech 9 rush as it was. So I like the escape plan from Shox. Then Body throws this smoke. I think he meant to throw a molly. He did have a Molotov, he probably hit the wrong bind. He was blinded up at the time. Because you'll see here, if you throw this molly, especially from this tree position, 1, it stops anyone running through here. And 2, whenever they jump out, they're going to get a little bit of molly damage. They try to run through, they're running through a molly, taking quite a bit of damage. Obviously, if you're worried about this walkway, you could throw it even shorter, just to make sure they're not going to run through it. But I like this one, throwing a Molotov here is very good because they're jumping out onto a molly, taking a bit of damage as they're running onto the site. Because I mean, they can't all just run down the stairs here because it's a lot slower. They lose a few seconds time for you to rotate in. So that Molotov there is a really good one if you're saving one. Obviously, a lot of V setups, you have a player back here. Yeah, we'll just play angles like this, pick him off as they run past. Obviously, the problem with this rock position is you can get taken out from two angles. But obviously, it's good to play around. But if you throw that Molotov, you only have to worry about one angle, people crossing the site here. And for counter nades, that's about it. Flashbangs all up there. Nades as well, if you know they're coming in. Obviously, you don't want to have your nade out for too long, but it's a pretty open spot. You know they're going to be playing behind those boxes, jumping out. And that's probably the best spot here. Molotov here, if you have a molly and you know they're executing. So here's a little play from Shox. I like that he does. When him or his teammates have smoked off B long, it's not this smoke he's walking through now, but this one behind him now. He'll get up close at the right here, and he'll be in a position to flank them, or they'll just run past that checking. You'll see Norman checks this position, and he's got full plat control. Obviously, this is only good when you've got the B long smoked off, but it's a really strong position. They're going to Molotov you out. They're going to walk through the smoke. You have a huge advantage. I just really like that spot. Good play from Shox. He does this against full buys and ecos, and it works either way most of the time. Let's get into some two-man setups now, some strong ways you can hold the B site. So this one here, as you know, tree is a very strong position no matter what. A bit of an off angle, you can play around the tree, jiggle from side to side, very strong. But you'll see what's happening here is Shox is going to move himself into the back corner. Now obviously you're thinking this can get mollied out a lot. You'll notice Shox still has a flash and a smoke. He can smoke himself out, flash himself out. So he gets his smoke out ready there, decides he doesn't need to do it. NBK goes down at drop, which could be a huge problem here. Body's on tree, and you'll see he has to turn around to watch drop, leaving Shox here. Luckily they don't Molotov the spot where Shox is. And you'll see they come out, he gets this kill, but now Shox, they just run out, they presume the tree guy was there to watch plat, and Shox is able to come out and clean up the mess. Nice nade at the end there. So you'll see that crossfire that could have been, say that NBK held drop effectively, that crossfire would have locked down Platt easy, and if Shox is Molotov'd off, he chucks his smoke down and then flashes himself away and they can set up again, he can play somewhere else. Just say you do get stuck in the corner and get Molotov'd out, this is how Shox will deal with it. You see, as soon as that smoke comes in, he pulls out his glowing smoke grenade and he smokes himself off. I don't know why he's glowing, just another lovely demo glitch, I guess. But you see he stays in this corner now, and from Rop's point of view, he can't actually tell. Look at those smokes. He can't tell if Shox is left. So this forces them, again, you'll see in a second, he has his flash ready now. And he's relying on his teammate on Tree Body to spot for him. You see they throw another Molotov, he flashes himself out, he's able to leave. Rop's is full blind, and out he goes. And that's just a way you could escape. Obviously he could escape the first time, he decided he wanted to stay, but he escapes the second time even with the flashbang. And that's just a couple of options you have there. So another nice little two-man setup. Maybe you think they're going to go more towards the A side here, as you see NBK is playing outside drop, and they've just got the two guys on the B side. Shox has a nice angle onto E-box here, or where they come out from a drop down. And then you'll see the other spot, Body here has got anyone who tries to push onto site. Obviously, if they clear out Body, it could leave Shox in a bit of strife. But you see an important thing here Body does is he does get that first kill quite nicely, and you see he peeks out and tries to catch the other players off guard if they're looking at him. You can't just sit there forever. I mean, you could buy time with the man advantage, but he decides to swing out, otherwise you're just going to get pre-fired in that situation if they do take out Shox and some of the rotating players. Now, last thing here, guys, a lot of teams like to go is try and lock down deep in the B. So you'll see this Molotov here, Molotov's off the left-hand side. Also a flash coming from Apex, and you'll see Shox holds it with the AWP for a little bit, changes his mind, and he throws the smoke, and a smoke comes in. You'll see that Molotov was supposed to molly off the left-hand side here. Wasn't the best Molotov, but you'll see they got the result. They got the B-long control, which can be quite useful here. Obviously, Body walks through a smoke, and the round just kind of falls apart from here. But you guys get the idea. Now, obviously, this Molotov here forces anyone out behind the wooden stable. You do have to watch out for boost still. One thing I didn't show because they happened at the exact same time was Kia throws a flash over. I don't know exactly. Something like that. That'll just flash anyone off playing this angle from down there, maybe AWPing Body as he gets up. The thing about this flash is it also gets anyone holding here. So Body's able to come in after, make sure no one here, come in and check this close angle, and they have most control. You see Apex does join him just to slowly clear out angles like this. Maybe clear out boost, and then they have long control. The smoke comes in from Shox, and yeah, they have B-long. Body walks through it. They were 4v4. I mean, maybe you wouldn't have thought the risk. But I don't know about that. But one lineup, because Shox Molly actually did miss, had a gap in it. Come back yourself up against this wall. Aim the middle of this banner with the side wall here. So it's going to look like that. You're going to aim at the middle of this little block. Run forward and throw. You're going to throw just as you lift up on these stairs here. You see that's going to go towards the back and molly anything off. And then it's simple as that. You can take B-long control. One thing I've seen SK do, I didn't see G2 do this, but I quite like it, is obviously with drop smoked off, you can also Molotov back here, forcing this player to just run through a whole lot of mollies and most likely die. So obviously you need it smoked off, simple smoke, I don't know, you need a deeper one, something like that, so you can see the lineup. Some people will throw it here, which will cover it up. But if you come into this back corner here, like so, you see these wooden planks here. If you aim in the middle of them up to the height of the bigger one, so it's going to look like that, you just throw. It's going to bounce off this back wall, and you see that's going to Molotov off there. So if you've got this Molotov down here, along with that one, it's going to force the player to run through a whole lot of Molotov and take a lot of damage, which is something I'd like to see. SK did it really effectively. And you can see that, I actually missed it, but it's in the comments of my Cobblestone video for Drop Down of how Coldzera plays it. I recommend you guys check that out. One more thing I noticed a few times Body doing is you can actually jump spot between these legs here. I don't really have a clip of it, but you can see if you're worried about them coming out, don't get too close like me and you hit that. Just from the back here, and you can see if anyone's out. Good little tactic, then you can fall back and play however. That's it guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.